Belief is the most important rule ever.
How did you become a global speaker? What was your game plan?
Hey!
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So Alana's part of my Movement Makers program. I love your Instagram bio. It says built to serve and teach. You know, I like that title.
Yeah, I stole it from you. Sorry.
Use it. I love it.
You said if you don't have something yet, use mine. So I was like, yes, I'm using this.
What do you got? How can I help?
What would you say is the most important keys to success?
I mean, it's what I'm preaching with all the content. I still think it's belief, right? People just don't believe in themselves enough. So why I think it's the world's biggest problem. I think everybody watching, I think everybody who watches the videos, everybody who will watch this on repeat, you've got what I call Michael Jordan level talent at something, right? Like you're the greatest in the world at something. And a lot of people struggle to even recognize that. You know, they don't think they're the greatest at something. And then they don't go and try to find out what that thing is, because that thing is probably not what your parents did or what your family did or what your friends are doing. It's something totally different and unique. And so having the courage to actually believe that and chase it down, most people just don't. I'm looking at this woman. Look, I don't know if I can see this. I don't know if you guys can see this across the way in the condo here. Wait, hold on. Can we see it?
Oh, yes, I see it. I see it.
Can we see it? Oh, wait, right. Hold on. Right here?
Yes.
This woman, like, hates her life. She's sitting here, like, she looks depressed. And it's like, that's most people. Most people just, like, she could have a great life. And I feel bad for her. She looks super sad across the way. And that's most people. Like, we put on this, you can go to somebody's Instagram and you see how happy they are because they're showing the best versions, you know, the highlight reel of their life. But then they go to the mirror and they don't like what they see. And I want to try to change that.
I love that. I feel that is such a big part of my passion and my purpose, especially being in the women's ministry and having this platform, but also with She United, where it's just uniting women and making them just recreate that limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves. And I love this journey that I started just with the Movement Makers and just all your inspiration. You're such a big part of it. And I really, just the who and the why and the how, that was such an eye-opener for me, just digging deep and rediscovering who I am and why I'm made like this. And the how. I love the how, because so often people just keep on saying you have a purpose and you need to live it and you need to go for it, but no one tells us how do you get to that. I just get so annoyed when I listen to these people just talking, you've got a purpose on your life and you need to go for it. I'm like, give me the tools. How do I get to that? So I love your book and I love how it helped me personally as well.
Awesome.
What would you say is the most important rule ever?
Same answer to your last question, like belief.
Yeah.
Belief is the most important rule ever. I think once you have belief, you can solve any problem. Just people don't believe they can, and so they don't.
Yeah.
Even just the tone of a lot of the questions people ask me is like, you know, hey, Evan, I'm a woman. How can I have any success in entrepreneurship? Well, if you just switched it to say, hey, Evan, I'm a woman. How can I have success in entrepreneurship? Just the tone change is just the belief. Belief that you can actually find an answer as opposed to thinking that you have to stay where you are. That's it. And that's the missing ingredient that most people have. They're not actually seeking out answers because they don't believe that they can.
I saw someone ask what's the title of the book. It's called Built to Serve. Sorry, I'm answering it for you.
That was great.
It's Built to Serve. It's an amazing book. You need to grab it. There's someone just answered. I know obviously you're a global speaker and you're an introvert. So those two, I don't know how that goes together. I feel exactly the same. I felt, while public speaking in school was for me like a nightmare, I tried to avoid it at all costs. And so how did you overcome, what was those steps? How did you become a global speaker? Just tell me step by step. I call it, I work on game plans on these things that I want to reach, those goals. So what was your game plan?
Okay, so there's the mindset shift, and then there's the actual tactics to make it happen. The mindset shift is twofold. One, that you are built to serve, that you holding this message inside is not going to lead to a happy life for you. That it's not even about you, though. It's about the people who you can help, the people who you can save, the people who you can give wisdom and guidance to. So speaking is one of the things I'm still most nervous about. I get on stage and I'm panicking that I'm going to forget what I'm going to say and that I'm not going to deliver. Disappointing people is my number one fear. And so the thing that always helps me is I look at the audience and say, I'm here to help these people. It's not even about me. Okay. I'm here to help this. I look at people's faces, not just like 1,000 people in the room, but I look at the woman in the front row, and I'm here to help her. Like, I have a message that can help her. Or that woman who hates her life across the street here, right? It's like, I would look at her as like, I can help her. I want to help her. Yeah. Right. And so now I'm not seeing 1,000 people. I'm seeing her, and then the guy next to her, and the kid next to him, and right. And that shifts me, that calms me down to center me again, because it's easy to get caught up in your own head. The other mindset shift I like to make is I do difficult things, right? Just like the Doritos, damn the Doritos. For my speeches now, I don't even have any slides. I used to do PowerPoint and every slide, so that if I got lost, my mindset was, if I got lost, at least I have my slides to fall back on. Yeah. Now I go on stage and speak for an hour. There's nothing. There's no slides. There's a picture of me on the screen, right? And that terrifies me. And so I have to do it. Yeah. Just because. A thing like this, right? If I was doing an interview with somebody, or just Q&A or trying to help, 8 years ago would have been, I need to know all your questions. Like, what do you want to ask, so that I'd be prepared, because I'd be worried that I wouldn't be able to give you a good answer. And now it's like, I don't want to know any questions. The live experience is so much better, because it's more, it's a more real reaction, as opposed to just everything being thought out and planned out. So those two mindset shifts really, it took me a long time, right? I mean, you can get there a lot faster. I really struggled with this at the beginning. Of one, I'm here to serve, and it's not about me, it's about the audience. And two, I do difficult things, and the fact that it's scary, difficult, or hard means I have to do it. Yeah. Once you get over that, then you can start actually creating the content and putting the steps into place, because if you don't believe that, then you'll never make the videos. You'll never do the outreach. You can have the game plan, but never follow it, because you just don't believe in it enough. So if you want to speak, the best thing is to have people see you speak. You should be doing regular videos of you speaking, not just talking to a camera, doing like a talking head video. Like 7 ways women can have more confidence. It could be a great video, but it's not a speech. So I would love to see you go and get as many speaking opportunities as possible for free, just to film it, so you have content. Go speak at your old high school. Go speak at a library. Go speak at a Lions Club. I started the YMCA. Go speak at the YMCA. Go speak to women entrepreneur clubs. Go speak to women's groups. Like, there's so many different groups that you can go and speak at. It doesn't have to be some big production like a TEDx or a TED, but just speak. Get somebody to film you with their phone, or you just set up a tripod and film yourself, so that the more people see you speak, the more they think of, oh, she's a speaker. She's not just somebody making content on Instagram or YouTube. Yeah. And then, do you reach out to people, or how did you go about? At the beginning, so I have an agent who helps me with a bunch of this stuff. But at the beginning, you have to prove yourself to get to an agent, right? So you want to be reaching out to all these organizations to say, hey, can I come and speak to your group about X, right? If it's about how women can have more confidence, that's a great message for any club, any group that targets women. If you're going to talk about entrepreneurship, there's so many different clubs and groups to talk about entrepreneurship, right? So you cater your message to the group, and then you reach out. And if you really want to take it seriously, if you're looking at, how do I line up so that I have a speaking gig every week? Once Corona's done, right? I mean, can't do it right now, but it's fine. Like, now is the outreach point, right? Yeah. you're not that far away from Toronto, which is, one of the biggest cities in North America, right? Top 5, I think. So you've got tons of opportunities looking at all the different clubs and groups and organizations and libraries and nonprofits and for-profits and incubators and, all sorts of different companies that are hosting events. Or you could go in and be the person who's giving an event. Like look at any incubator and say, hey, I'd love to come and talk to your entrepreneurs for free about XYZ, right?
Yeah.
So whether they already have a program, like libraries already have a program, you could fit in and slot into their programs. Other groups may not have ever done a program before.
Yeah.
Like even I look at Toronto Dance Salsa, which is the salsa business that I run here in Toronto. I would approach companies like that and say, hey, I'm a speaker. I have a message about how women can have more confidence. I'd love to do a free workshop. I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to get more speaking engagements and practice. And I love what you're doing. Like it's not even related to what the business does.
Yeah.
Alex is from Toronto Dance Salsa is giving a happy face in the chat. So there's so many different businesses, so many different organizations, so many different clubs that now it's time to start doing outreach and seeing what you're doing. Quick one pager, some topics that you can mention. You already have the design capabilities. I don't know if that's you, like for your Instagram, if you're making it yourself or somebody's helping you, but it looks it looks
all
super
me.
clean.
It's all
great.
me.
Well, it's like it's already good enough. Like it's great. It looks professional. Yeah. It's something that an agent, like you do a better job than my agent in putting together graphics and images and stuff, right? So you have a one pager talking about you and the message, and then you start emailing all the different clubs, organizations, groups, and your goals to get once a week doing a different speaking gig.
Yeah, that is great advice. I will definitely. I actually, I know you at one of the workshops you spoke about a team and getting a team, because if you want to grow, you actually need some support to grow. So I actually took your advice and I got someone on the team right now, and so she's definitely helping with the content, and hopefully we'll grow in leaps and bounds. And I know with hard work, it can't go any other way. Then I also noticed you have a weekly schedule. I would like to know, how do you think is it effective? Is it, do you think it just helps you to plan ahead? Do you maybe have some?
It's super effective for me.
Yeah.
I live and die by my schedule. And I think it's helpful for everybody to have I like to say your actions have to map to your ambitions, right? So this is what I want out of life. This is the life that I want, right? Personal and business, right?
Yeah.
Relationships, kids, whatever, working out, travel, fitness, like all the things that you care about to make a happy life, because it's not just business, but business is a big part of it. So what kind of schedule do you need to have in your life, and then create around it? I love having different days for different things.
Yeah,
it just lets me stay more focused. I think in general, people have a hard time switching tasks. But for me, I know I really struggle jumping between different tasks. So if I'm going to make one YouTube video and then go write 10 pages of my book, and then it's just like nothing's ever going to happen. It's just so if you're making YouTube videos, and it's one of the things that I discovered, the amount of work to make your first video, maybe it takes you 2 hours to make one video. You can then make another 5 videos in the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because there's the setup, there's the lighting and the camera and what am I going to say? And just all the mistakes and just the energy of getting in front of the camera, hair, makeup, whatever else. Like this hair takes a long time to
I can imagine.
put together, right? But it's more like the energy. Once you're in the zone, it takes a while to get into the zone. But once you're there, it's so much easier to create. So what most people do is they'll do all that work, create the one video, and then shut it down and go to something else. Where if you just stuck there for another hour, another 2 hours, you could have made 5 to 7 more videos. Same thing when I'm writing the book. it takes me 40 minutes just to get back into what I was writing from the last time I stopped writing the book. So if I only give myself an hour to write a book, I spend 40 minutes catching up and then 20 minutes of new writing, which isn't very productive. But if I give myself a whole day to do it, then that 40 minutes, it gets me into the zone, and then I'm in the zone for the rest of the day. And so I think really paying attention to the energy that you're in. Nice. That's amazing.
You just wow.
We're giving too much energy to Instagram.
That is so bad. Sorry.
No, it's great.
That's real life. I love it.
That's it. That's what happens.
Yeah. Sorry, I obviously have 2 kids, and I've been holding this screen, and I'm like, I'm not going to hold it anymore. I just want to, and then not a good idea. Hi, everyone. I'm back.
So thinking about that, like, how much time do you want to spend with your kids? You know, how much time do you want to spend being a mom? How much time do you want to spend being a speaker? How much time do you want to spend, with your team? You don't want to spend all day in your business, but you don't want to spend all day with your kids either. Right? So, like, what's the balance? And this is only what you can decide. This is where I think especially moms overjudge themselves and compare themselves to other moms who have it all figured out, and they feel like they're constantly pulled in 1,000 directions and they're never good enough for anything. It's you deciding this is what being a great mom looks like to me. This is how much time I want to spend with my kids and how it's going to happen. And speaking is also important to me, and being a badass entrepreneur is also important to me. And then whatever that mix of balance looks like for you, you put it into your calendar. Yeah. And then you start doing it. Yeah. And then every month or every quarter, whatever, you can take a look back at your calendar and you say, is this still, it's going to change, right? Yeah. As your kids get older, as you get more opportunities, your things will constantly change. That's okay. But it's got to be reflected in your calendar. So I'm a big fan of setting a daily calendar. Not every entrepreneur can set entire days for things, depending on if you have a job or not and other things. But definitely having big blocks of time to focus on your important projects. Like if you said, I want to be a speaker, there's a big difference between saying, okay, I'm going to dedicate 4 hours every Friday to building my speaking career, to creating the content, to DMing and messaging people, to sending out my one-page to people. If you put 4 hours a week on a Friday afternoon into it, guess what? You're going to get speaking gigs. If it's just, I want to be a speaker, but it's never in your calendar, something else is always going to take some kind of priority. And then you're going to be back, in 6 months. Like, I still want to be a speaker, but nothing's happened. Right? Yeah. So it has to be in your calendar. It's really like goals and dreams only become a reality once you schedule it in and make a priority and basically schedule it in your daily calendar. It's like a meeting. You're having a meeting with yourself, and it's a meeting with your goals and your dreams and how do you actually get there and your purpose. I'm really, just like you, scheduling it in and making it part of my to-do list. And the personal stuff too, right? Yeah. Like the personal. I went and did a sleep test where they measured how much sleep I need, and the doctor told me I need 8.5 to 9 hours sleep, which kills me. I'm trying to hack it. Like, how do I get it down to like 6? Right? Like, no, your problem is you need more. So now I factor in 8.5 hours sleep into my schedule. That is amazing. I'm proud of you for doing that. But people default to saying, well, how do I get an hour? How do I wake up an hour earlier? Where, if you're not being productive 16 hours a day, what makes you think that 17th hour is now the magic ingredient while you have less sleep? Like, I'm a big, big proponent of auditing the time that you have while you're awake, and whether it's 15 hours or 16 hours or 17 hours or 18 hours, like, there's a lot of wasted time in there for most people, and that's what I want to eliminate, at least for myself, as much as possible. I listened to Ed Mylett, and he was also talking about breaking your day into those little, like your morning into 6 hours, and you then have 3 sections of your day, and you literally focus on those first 6 hours, and that you just put all your time into that, and you just then your next 6 hours is another where you just focus and work hard, and this is what you need to achieve. And I feel if we break down our days, that's what I've personally experienced. Well, I try to create better habits by getting my sleep in so I can be more productive when I am awake. And I need to
to get the most out of those 6 hours that I've scheduled in my calendar. And I'm very much a list person, so I want to tick it off. I feel like I've accomplished something once I can make that little mark next to it. So sometimes I even put something that I've done already on my list, like just marking it off. It's just that sense that I'm getting there and I'm creating that sense of achievement, and just by doing little things like that. So I completely understand the sleeping, how important that is, so you can be productive for the hours that you need to be.
Yeah, and if you love lists and checking things off the list, then use that. Like, hack that. Have a daily list for the things that you need to do, because you know that that's how your brain is wired and keeps you being productive. The thing that you have to watch out for is adding things on the list just to check them off that don't actually move your life forward. Right? Like, oh, I did that. But like, you still didn't do the. Did you do the outreach for the speaking, or did you do? Right. So making sure
that is true.
If you have the ability to, a lot of people have a hard time sticking to the things on their list. That's not your problem. Yours will be more, am I doing the things that matter on the list?
Yeah. Is it adding value?
Yeah.
Contributing. Yeah.
To the life that you want to build. Right.
Yes.
So like that weekly list needs to include speaking outreach.
Okay. Got it. I'm on it.
I love it. Cool.
Thanks, Evan.
Appreciate
it. Thank you. Sorry for dropping you.
No, it's great. I think it's the best. I love the live experience. That's what happens. And I'll see you inside the Movement Makers program.
I'll see you there. Thank you so much. Okay. Have a great day.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.